let's be honest here. The SP system and rank system, it needs an absolute massive reapproach and rework, and it's not even a secret to anybody at this point.
What would you do?
What would I do to the SP system?
What would you do? Because like I know what the problems are for high infinite players, but I don't really think they should fix any of them because they're problems that exist. It's like, well, look, if you didn't want to lose 19 SP or lose 32 SP and gain 19 for an 8-cuber, the shouldn't have been so high ranked in the first place. Like that to me is like one of those things that you don't want to fix. That's a feature, not a bug. I hate it, but it is like just one of those things where it's like, I don't think you can fix that and still have a functional ladder, right?
I think part of it is the reset that happens at the end. I think the compression is still too wide. I think that the percentage of compression from the bottom and the top to change what the bell graph is way too wide, personally. So, let's say at the end of the season, the number one ranked player ends at 10,000 SP. When they're reset, they're reset down to, let's say, 8,600.
It's 8,541.
Right. So if we're right around there. Yeah. So if it's 80, no, Sizer literally just hit it 2 hours ago and was 8,600.
You started 8541 plus or minus your climb. You can check this in the files.
Got it. Okay. I thought you meant like that's the highest you could place into.
No.
Sorry.
When you're above, I think it's like 9K-ish, but I'm sure it's actually like a percentile thing. You get reset to 8541 or 8542.
Well, that's what I'm talking about with the bell curve.
Yeah. And that happens, you can like the second you reset, you can open the game files and just see what your thing is. And then you do plus or minus your climb. So he had a good climb and started at the same thing, right?
Right.
That is what happens in that situation.
So that right there is one of the things I would first start with. I would look at the bottom and the top numbers of what that bell curve is compressing and saying, okay, at the end of the season, SP's range, I'm just making up numbers here, range from 10,000 to 3,000 on the bottom end. And when they compress at the end of the season, it goes down to, like you said, 8,500. And let's do the same amount the other way, 4,500. So it's a 4,500 to 8,500 SP, bottom and top, matchmaking. Here are where your percentages are to start your season go. Okay. That number, I would make that gap much smaller, like another 50%. I would bring it down to like either 7,500 or 7,000.
Why?
I would bring it way down because in that condensation, the pool in which the mid plays does not change as much, but the top 20% of people, your pool just got twice as large.
That'd be sick. I would like that. I don't know if that would be good for the people we're playing.
In the top?
No, like what you're saying is get a bunch of like effectively by condensing it, you are getting a bunch of people into the matchmaking pool with me who presumably would not be, according to whatever system, quote unquote, fair matchups for me under the previous system. There are probably reasons why they think that, right?
The reason very often, and you know this firsthand too, very often to getting the higher SP numbers by the end of the season compared to, let's say, Joe Blow, who hits infinite maybe 2 weeks in and hits and ends up at, every season he's doing well and he gets settled at, like, let's say 8K or 7,500 is volume.
Ooh, I don't know if that's true, but I think people think it's like all volume. You know what I mean? And
it's volume at some
modulated.
point.
Yes, it's volume modulated by win rate, right? You can't play a bunch and also not win a bunch. You have to play a bunch and win a bunch.
When you have a 4,000 SP variance on reset, when you cut off the top half and you bring up the bottom half in SP, and you say you have 4,000, the player who's at rank 7,000, knowing that they're going to be match made a certain number up and a certain number down, the amount of people that are in their range changes depending on if that range is a 4,000 to 8,000 or if it's a 5,000 to 7,500. There's more people condensed in their potential matchmaking bubble. So who you play against changes. 100%, both, and either way, for the top 50% of players in the entire game, you gain more people who are lesser players in your bubble than you gain better players.
I get that. Is that good? That's what I'm saying. I don't think about like if that's good for me. Is that good for them?
I think over seasons, because of it continually condensing, it forces proper play activity to give an actual current accurate reflection. Because the way the system is currently set up, like you said, you took let's say 3 months off.
It wasn't like literally not playing, but it was
you know what I mean though.
Yeah, right. I didn't stream it. I was playing a lot less serious.
Just chill play, right? You aren't what we'll say competitively multiple times a week playing the game for long sessions. You know, that's one thing.
Correct.
Volume on top of competitiveness.
I felt
both
rusty.
Of them mixed together.
Like it was real. When I started playing again more seriously, you could really feel like the lack of clarity, I think.
The way the system is currently set up is that it does not punish the lack of activity enough. When you condense, you actually promote activity for an more accurate reflection of MMR bracket.
I think that's a pretty compelling argument. My one question would be, like, accepting the premise, I don't know if it would actually work, but if your premise is it would promote activity, that sounds great to me. What would happen to, like, Iris, who took 2 months off? What would be a fair thing to do for that person? Because I think what you're describing, weirdly, is a system where volume matters even more, which seems to be part of the objection to the current one.
You forgot a part of it, though, where I also said anybody who's still in the top 50% of players with a tighter condensing, you're going to receive more players who are of a quote unquote lesser rank or lesser skill base, depending on how you want to look at it, than you in your bubble. So if somebody like Iris takes 2 months off, they're going to be playing against more people initially because they've dropped down faster, quote unquote, in their SP ranking.
I got it.
So it'll be an easy, quote unquote, climb for them to get up. However, to be in the top 250, top 100, etc., it should be a much more accurate reflection of both skill plus volume, not just skill.
My worry is that you've actually, like, again, I can't see a way that this doesn't make it more about volume. Like, what's interesting to me here is that the way you phrased it was, it's an accurate reflection of skill plus volume, not just skill. But part of the complaint is there's too much volume. Part of the complaints people make about the system are that it takes too long for them to do it.
When you get to that threshold, let's say you hit your infinite and now you're competing for rank at that point. When you're doing that, that should be volume. When you're trying to hit infinite, it should be about who you're matched up against, not the volume of the person you played against. And a lot of that is what happens within this current system because rank is a false illusion number. You know that, and I know that.
It's a fake
rank
number.
90 means
rank
absolutely
isn't a number.
nothing.
The SP is a number. You have your rank 90 is not someone else's rank 90. It's one of the biggest problems with data sites that track by like rank. Because me in rank 90, I'm still playing all the people who are like 84, 85, 41 reset guys, right? Like those are my matchmaking pool. That's why rank 90 stats are fake. That's all true. I'm just confused, like, because to me, I thought the complaint was functionally, Cam's not really that good. He just plays a lot. That's what I thought the complaint was, right? Like, these people aren't that good. They just play more than me. That's how I interpret it. And it feels like what you're making is a system where those people will be right.
I think more people would be happier hitting infinite in general. Like right now, well, at least I shouldn't say right now because I don't know this number. I remember from past conversations where they said the goal, at least of infinite, I believe used to be 5% of the player base originally.
I don't remember if they said it was the goal, and unfortunately, if I don't remember the wording specifically enough, I'm not sure I can.
I don't remember, but it's...
I don't know if they said that was the goal. I think they said that's what it was. I don't know if they said this.
It was either a reflection or a goal or something along those lines, where Infinite was meant to be something along the lines of roughly 5%-ish of the player base. And if that's the case, given the age of this game, especially now, I think
that's still true, yeah.
I think that it is still an accurate reflection and is not as healthy of a system. I think something that is a little bit wider, that promotes gameplay to getting to Infinite at the same time, because if you don't play for a long period of time or you're a new player, and that's a whole nother conversation. New players and the whole thing that happened with SafetyBlade.
Whatever that is. Yeah, the new player SP, returning player SP thing, whatever that is, just every 6 months. Every 6 months, the ladder breaks such that there is a new person who is smurfing at the top of Infinite, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it just happens every 6 months for whatever reason. Nobody's really sure why. I guess my thing is, when I think about what I would want to happen, I don't want more people to have to play more. What I want is people to be able to have stickier climbs. Here's what I would identify as the problem with the system. And this is not a problem that affects me. I don't really care. Like, it's just not a problem that affects me. This is just me top down. When I think of things that would cause people to quit the game, this is one of them. You come in at 7,600. You grind your way up to 8,500. You get reset down to 7,800. And I know why the system does that. The system does that because you started at 76 and it thinks, okay, it's a fluke. You probably played a lot of games to get up there. Maybe you didn't have great underlying stats. It's just like, all right, we'll put you a little higher, earn it again. I think that sucks. I think that is super ass. And I know that's like a thing that I'm, even in not focusing on like super high elo land, I'm still focusing on like a thing that maybe doesn't affect too many people. But what really sucks for me, and the thing I would want to get more people into sort of my bracket, is to actually let their climbs stick and let them prove it. I'm not saying they have to, if they grind up to 85, I'm not saying they have to get reset to 85. But I'm saying if you make like a 900 SP climb, that's dope. And you should be proud of that, and you should be rewarded for that the next season. That's awesome. If you go from 6,700 to 7,800, you did 1,100 SP and they put you back at 6,900, you quit. Like that's the pain point that I would identify for this, is like, I don't think that the system they have allows for people to do it all in one go in a way that I would like them to be able to do it all in one go.
You have to literally break the rubber band for the rubber band not to snap back. That's the problem. You have to climb over like 1,500 SP one season, anyway. One time. But for it to not feel like it's going to do, like you said, the 6,700, you go to 7,800, and then you're down to 6,900. No.
Oh, bad.
For you to be reset, if you started at 6,700, say you climbed to 8,200, and you got set back to 7,000, it would
be so ass.
Hate everything about this game.
And the thing is, anyone who can do that kind of climb should be rewarded. I don't care where you started. You need to reward that player.
And that's where I think a part of that is taking the bell curve and the width of things and condensing it together actually helps, because it allows the top to stay at the top, those who climb and make those kinds of a climb not to fall backwards as far, because everybody equidistantly is also falling similarly. It actually condenses it much better.
Dividing it by two, though, right? Like, what you're creating in effect is, my understanding of your proposal is just divide it by two. So now what would have been 4,500 is 6,500. What would have been 4,800 is 650.
For the audio listeners, think of it like this. You've got a graph out there, and you have two endpoints. The beginning of the graph starts at, let's say, okay, it's the end of the season. The bottom player is at SP, let's say 3,000. Right?
Like, how do you address that the distribution is going to be the same but condensed? Like, it's the distribution.
That's what I'm getting to. Yeah.
Okay.
So The angles of the curve stay the same, but here with me, right? The bottom of it starts at the number 3,000. The top of it, which is the number one player, is at 10,000. So it's a full distribution pool of 7,000 wide. When reset happens, they drop the top down to, I'm just going to round it and say 8,500. So they shave off essentially 1,500.
Yep.
And then they'll do the same essentially to the bottom, and they bring that 3,000 up to 4,500. So now you've got 4,500 to 8,500. That's a 4,000 SP distribution pool that has a specific bell curve built within it.
Yes.
By taking that same bell curve, and instead of it being a 4,000 rank difference, have it be a 3,000 rank difference.
That's great. I love that. But what happens to the people? Okay. I'm going to give you two people. Person one was 3,500 SP. Person two was 4,000 SP. This happens. Are they both 4,000 SP?
$4,000 would be moved up because it would be in the condensed. So I'm not saying shave off and shave. I'm saying everything still accordion squishes more. So that means the 4,000 person is going to move up. Yeah.
4,000 person is going to move up when you accordion squish. That's perfect. That's great. But the distribution is the same. All you've done is create more volatility, which is good for the record. I think the additional volatility is good.
Wait, no. I see where you're getting stuck. You're assuming that the bubble in which you pair up against also shrinks. I'm not saying that.
No. I'm not assuming that. I get that. You're adding more people to the bubble. What I'm saying is the distribution of the curve is the same.
Yes.
So what's going to stop someone from feeling the exact same way when they climb from 4,000 to 5,100 and get reset back to 42? Like that's what I'm getting at, is like, I think that there is a structural issue with how much they reward people for making good climbs. And it encourages this kind of behavior where what you're supposed to do is figure out, like, if you're a high rank player, all you do is figure out the minimum climb to reset to the max. That's what you do. And then you do that, and then no one cares, right? Like, the problem is that this impacts low rank players in a different way. And like, I feel like unless, like, for the record, I think adding the volatility is great. Giving people a feeling that things are closer, even if they aren't closer necessarily, is still good. But I want to actually make it closer. I want to actually get people on an upward trajectory here. I want someone who is low, like, I don't want ELO hell to exist. And I think it kind of does.
I think it does too. And I think there are different solutions other than just scaling placements that could also be beneficial in that. So, for example, from a sales perspective, you see it in the sense of, congratulations, you hit infinite. Here's this bundle, right? You're rewarded with something because you did a thing. When you do this from a performance perspective, you can be rewarded something like SP. So it's like, congratulations, you hit infinite and then climbed another 300 SP. Here's a bonus 100 SP because you put the time and the work in.
I think that kind of rocks, honestly.
Like that kind of.
I think like rewarding people for, like, I haven't really thought through the implications, but I like that would go a long way for alleviating the thing I'm talking about, where it's like, hey man, you had a really good last season. Here's a higher rank. Like, you did amazing and we're proud of you, and here's some cool shit. Like, that would be, that would go a long way for me, where it's like, one of the things that frustrates me is I think that an ideal system for a post-infinite gameplay experience would reward everyone based on where they started versus where they ended. And would be about you fighting yourself. It would be about where you start, where you end, and then it wouldn't matter so much all the problems that I have about resets being so ridiculous or whatever. But we don't have a system that works like that. Like, if I were the person designing post-infinite, I would focus a lot more on, like, how can I personalize this experience to the person who is having it and make them feel rewarded without, because, like, just putting a number on something is, like, ladders are mental poison, right? You see a lot of high ladder gamers, such as myself and Browd A, like, really go through it when the number that represents how good we are goes down. And until you divorce yourself from caring about that number and thinking it represents how good you are, you're never going to get over it. And it's something that I work on pretty consistently, is to divorce myself from the number. But the point of the number from a game design sense is to make me feel that. The number is there to make you feel bad and make you feel like you need to make it a better number. That's the function of the number from a game design sense. And for me, I guess I just feel like there's a nicer way to do that, where the function of the number is to represent you, and your battle is against that number and not against every other person in the world.
That is a pre-infinite experience. That everything you just said is 100% a pre-infinite experience, and that's the whole point. You're playing against yourself to see if you can climb enough every season to get the X amount of cubes before the end of the season to be plus X amount of cubes on season ranked play. Like, all of that is correlated in a balance of time and activity. It's a perfect reflection of it. So post infinite, the same thing can exist with the same type of feeling.
You're right. Why don't we have season pass caches but for post infinite SP gains? You're right. You're so right. You're 100% right. They should have done that 4 years ago. They should do this. I was like, wait, I don't know if my idea worked. No, you're right.
No.
Every like 25 SP gained or whatever, you should get a season pass cache, which has mostly garbage in it, but you should get it. Like that's so true. You're right. It doesn't have to be something big. It can just be like something there. Dude,
Wherever.
Yeah, no, now I'm actually upset that they haven't done this. I was like kind of idly speculating, but now I'm just like, you guys, you're throwing.
It's something that post infinite, where that activity then gets rewarded. Those caches, for example, if they had a 50 SP cache, you'd feel so good because
that rocks.
Right? You don't need the 25 tokens. You take 50 SP if you're post infinite and climb in and opening all of those caches. Like, that kind of stuff is very rewarding.
Sick as hell. Yeah, that's sick as hell. They should do this. I have convinced myself they should actually do this. I no longer have any objections to my own idea. I'm not going to talk myself out of this. I think you fixed it. I think you solved it. They should do this. Make it happen. Employee.